what you felt about this story that was worth telling to the world.
Yeah, I mean, when I learned about Whitney's story, I couldn't believe that I hadn't known it before. I couldn't believe that I didn't know that one of the main people who created Tinder also created Bumble, and that there was, how much she went through. But what really just, changed it from something that I thought was interesting to a story I felt like I needed to tell was learning about her arc of sort of going from being part of the boys club and sort of wanting to fit in to pushing that back and wanting to change culture. That message really spoke to me and felt like it really related to a lot of my experience, my own experience working in sort of a male-dominated field.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you about it. Was it your intention to have a feminist take on the production?
So I guess more than like a feminist take, I kind of think of it as like my own perspective, which maybe you could make an argument is feminist, but it's like, I had this experience as well of sort of coming into a space with mostly men and wanting to succeed and trying to navigate how to fit into that and how to what to put up with and what to push back on. And Whitney's story obviously is like much more dramatic and on a much bigger scale, but that like through line of sort of starting there and then wanting to get to a place of making things better for the people after me, women and everyone, rather than just sort of going along to get along, that I thought was really inspirational and really relevant to me.
What about her surprised you the most?
Well, so I didn't know her story before, so it was all sort of surprising. But when I realized that she had sort of been through so much and then decided that she was going to pick herself back up and succeed, I think, it's really hard. People can be forgiven for if you go through something so traumatic, just want to step out of the public eye and just stay away and like live a quiet life and go away, which is what people would maybe want you to do. And instead for her to sort of decide to pick herself up and start again and take on this massive project and like really try to make a change, I think that's really unique and really, really special.
You probably had your own view or perspective about dating apps before doing this. Has it changed? And how do you feel about them now?
What was interesting, because I've never really been on the apps. I've been with my partner for a really long time. But I sort of had forgotten that at the beginning, they weren't like cool. That really like Tinder was the first one that really even brought them into the public in a different way, that, going like time traveling back in my research to being like, oh, right, before it was just websites where like, and it was considered sort of like uncool or like someone who was like a loser and couldn't get a date, they're going to be on a dating website, to, that switch in 2012 where Tinder really took over and like revolutionized not only the app itself, but sort of the public persona of the app. That change was a real shock to me.
What is it that you've learned about technology and dating apps and this new world that you really wanted to show to the audience?
I think for me, like the tech side of it is pretty interesting, that sort of the culture of tech and how frankly like misogynistic and like kind of toxic that was, in 2012, and how that's changed. That was really what excited me, and I think, not that the world's perfect now, it's not solved, but I do think that like with Me Too and with experiences like Whitney's and people speaking up, we're in a different place than we were then. And so the shift of that culture is what was really fascinating to me.
¿Quiere enterarse de las noticias en detalle en el momento en el que ocurren? Suscríbase a nuestro canal de YouTube y active la campanita.